How did it feel when you first connected with Pathways?
Immediately, their mission resonated with me. I already knew several of the board members, being the same church, and then I met the staff members, the executive director, Sonia, and her staff. I couldn't be more impressed. Every person in that office seemed to really, really care about what they're doing, and I think it's something that's admirable, and I feel very fortunate to be part of it. I'm Stan Poey, and I was born in Indonesia, and I moved here with my family, my younger sister and brother, and my parents in 1967. Pathways was originally founded by members of Solana Beach Presbyterian Church. What Pathways is all about, it's welcoming the strangers among us. And there's a strong biblical principle about loving God and loving your neighbors. And so this is an organization that actually lives that out. Every person that works there, staff members and all the volunteers, the tutors, they have this heart to help, to befriend the clients. I felt like Pathways to Citizenship was like this American friend to these people, just as my family had an American friend who helped us. And so that really motivated me to get involved with this group. I must admit, when we moved here, I didn't understand why I had to leave my home, my friends, my toys, my dogs. And it was tough for me as a kid to understand, what am I doing here? I don't understand what anyone's talking about. I don't understand the teachers. I don't think my fifth grade teacher knew what to do with me either, because I didn't speak English. And back in Indonesia, I got good grades, and I think I was a pretty good student. So it was tough for me. And I realize now, well, my parents told me that I was very difficult when we first came here, because I didn't understand why we had to leave. Indonesia at that time had just gone through a regime change, and a new president was in power, President Suharto. Both my parents were born in Indonesia, but ethnically we're Chinese Indonesians as opposed to ethnic Indonesians. The new president ran on a platform of being strongly anti-communist, which sounds like a very good thing, but he painted a picture of all Chinese Indonesians were communists. And so there was this distrust, there's this the enemy within mentality. And so pretty soon it became dangerous for Chinese Indonesians and their businesses. And my dad was a professor of pharmacy at a university on the island of Java. Bad things were happening to Chinese Indonesians, and basically the authorities looked the other way. And one day, one of my dad's colleagues disappeared, and they never investigated the fact that he was murdered. And so my dad said, that's it, our future's not in this country, and certainly not our children. And so they made the decision to leave the country. And my dad, as a professor, had done some research work in the United States. And so he was familiar with the US and decided this was, sounds cliche, but the land of opportunity. And so he and my mom made the decision to leave everything and come over here. He loved his job, but he left that, left our friends, left our families. If I were to place myself in their position, because when I had kids, I remember when I turned 41, I was thinking, this is the age that my dad decided to leave this country and go someplace and start anew. He didn't have a job lined up. He didn't have anybody, he didn't have friends yet. And the kids didn't speak the language. I would imagine, what if I up and decided to move to France or Japan or something, where it's totally different. It took a lot of courage to do that. What my parents taught was that you need to assimilate into the culture of this new land without losing sight of your old culture, because I still understand my heritage and I'm proud of it. But basically saying, you're going to be an American now. We need to speak English. That opened the door for me to make friends when I was little, to understand what teachers were teaching me, and ultimately to, go to college and have a career. There's this gentleman that my dad had met when he was doing research in the United States, when he was still a professor in Indonesia. And this gentleman's name is Dennis Martin. And after we moved here, us kids called him Uncle Martin, because close family friends are called Uncle and Aunt, even though they're not related. So Uncle Martin, I remember, would visit often and help them figure out some of these forms. Which, again, my dad was, an intelligent, learned man, but if you've seen the immigration form, they're like IRS tax forms, and the instructions are everywhere. What's going on? So, but it helped to have Uncle Martin help that. I remember Uncle Martin helped with the quiz them on the civics exam portion, and also in terms of culture, the first, back when I was 10 again, I do remember the first Halloween, and Uncle Martin had come, asked my dad, do your kids have their costumes? And my dad's going, for what? And he was explaining Halloween to us. I remember, and so, oh yeah, your kids dress up in costumes, they knock on neighbors' doors, and the neighbors will give them candy. I was going, what? My parents saying, my kids aren't going to beg for candy. No, it's not like that. And so Uncle Martin helped us get our first costumes. My first costume was a pirate. I remember that. And so it was neat to have that guidance that helped make it a little easier for us to, get used to the culture. Very different. Western culture from Asian culture is very different. So that was neat. It's part of the reason why Pathways, when they recruited me and explained what Pathways is about, and the fact that they treat the clients with more personal interests.
Yeah.
To me, like, Pathways is like the Uncle Martin that our clients need. It really helps this process if you have an American friend holding your hands. And to me, our volunteer attorneys at Pathways, the volunteer ESL tutors and the civics tutors, that's what they're doing. And so it was a pretty easy decision for me to say, yeah, I'd like to be involved with this organization. I think as far as the future for me is, I just became a grandfather, 3 months old. And what a wonder that is. Personally, my future is just being the best dad and grandfather I can be for my kids and grandkids. But I think in the context of, what we're talking about here, I mentioned, I'm a man of faith, so I think there's hope. I have faith that this country's future is bright. And I think as a naturalized immigrant myself, and the client that Pathway serves, we have a lot to offer. And I hope that my work with Pathways and Pathways work with our immigrants, I think they have a lot to offer. I know that some of our clients are very accomplished people, business owners. I believe we're approaching 60 countries. The immigrants that we're helping and become U.S. citizens, through the finish line. I think we're coming up on 60 countries that they're from. It's still going to be a great country. And I think immigrants will continue to play a big role in of this country develops.